What's going on, guys? I hope you are having a great day out there. Guys, we got this going on. Rain, rain, and more rain. So I figured it was a great day to work on some cars, get some things fixed up, and go over a couple things, and make some improvements to hopefully get some more speed out of this thing. As you can also see, the Mojave is looking pretty fresh. We'll talk about that here in a few moments on what I all did to that, because after the last bash with the Mojave, it took a pretty good beating, and some other things happened to it off camera at the end of the video that I didn't show in the video. We'll talk about that too. But first things first, we'll go over Rollardo. Last speed run we had this thing out, we hit 83 miles per hour on 3S with the highest speed gearing that's included with the package. Now, since then, we've made some changes. Obviously, I put the foam tires on it. Also, these are not the stock tires anymore. These are some foams I found off of eBay. And decided, you know what? Let's see what we can get this thing up to. I didn't want to go crazy. I mean, you can buy your speed runs. You can, obviously go out and spend hundreds of dollars on ESCs and different motors and stuff like that. However, I just wanted to see with what I had laying around here in the shop and extras and spares and things from old cars, how I could maybe improve this thing a little bit. So I've left all the same stock gearing in there that I had on the last run where we hit 83. However, the ESC obviously only worked on 2S and 3S. So I was looking through my ESCs, and I had this Traxxas 4S ESC that was originally, I think, in my Traxxas Max. Now, I had to make a few adapters for this thing. I didn't want to cut everything off because, I might want to put the original ESC in here. So I just made some adapters to go to this, got everything fitted up, and just Velcroed the new ESC, well, the old but new ESC in here. Now, the next tricky part was getting a 4S LiPo to fit in here. And it wasn't real easy. However, I'll show you what I did. Now, the smallest pack I had on hand, as far as actually dimension size, was this Sokokin 6500 milliamp 100C 4S LiPo. Battery's been holding up great, but I wanted to fit it in here. I wanted to make sure battery had enough punch, had a good C rating, without having to go and order a new battery, because I just wanted to take this thing out and rip it, with what I have. Now, to get it to fit in here, as you guys can see, on the stock, there's these little raised pieces of plastic here along this outer skirt. I cut it all off with a Dremel so it was flush with the rest of the body. LiPo sits down here nicely, and then I took out the battery holder here and then lengthened the screw out to make this part longer so that it would clamp down on at least part of it. Now, obviously, it's not holding the whole battery down. However, I figure if it crashes, probably now at these speeds, I'm going to be worrying about more than the battery coming loose. It is held in there. It's not bouncing around. It's decently tight, but I might come up with something to put here to kind of help hold it in place. I might screw down some sort of little bracket so it can't go forward too easy. But in the current state, she works out. Just to give you a visual, this is what I got going on basically, and I pull this down real nice and tight, clamp it down with the pin, and it's held in there pretty good. I mean, it does not move around at all. I might put down some foam or something underneath there to help hold it, just so it keeps it from sliding a little bit easier. However, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And again, guys, I have stripped out all the electronics, all the lights, tail lights, all that stuff out of there, spare tire. I've gotten rid of pretty much everything that I think I can get rid of, to help reduce a little bit of weight without compromising the car too much. So now you're probably asking, well, how does it run now on 4S? Guys, the 4S woke this thing up big time. I don't know if you remember, and I've noticed, because I've tried recording some other little pieces with this car, the audio that the phone is recording currently does not do the sound of this car any justice. However, I mean, it's ridiculous. She's definitely going to fly. I mean, I'm going to guess that this thing should hit 100 miles per hour, no problem. As long as I can keep it a straight line. You can't get on the gas too hard at all because it's got some power. I was driving around briefly here. Now, this is a smooth concrete floor in my basement, so it gets zero traction on this, especially with the foams. And guys, I mean, if I hit the gas, literally, the tires just started to smoke. So it might be overpowered, honestly, but we're going to take it back out. As soon as it stops raining, we got rain in the forecast for the next 3 days. So I'm hoping sometime by next week, I could take this thing out and give her a good pass. We're going to take our time and build up. I'm probably going to run on a 3S ESC or 3S battery with this ESC and see what we get with that, and then run it on a 4S, kind of take a few steps. But I have no doubts that this thing should hit 100 mile an hour easy now. We're also going to go over, because a lot of people asked me about the tires, and I didn't know the name of the tires that I'm currently running on the Infraction. And these tires are a ton of fun. They are definitely not a speed run tire, but as far as a drifter basher tire, they are awesome. And I'll tell you what those ones are if you don't already know. Now to get to the Mojave. As you've seen in the last video with this thing took a massive beating. I mean, guys, it was just flying out there. Thoroughly impressed me at the motocross track on actually how well the Mojave was flying off that big jump out there, landing, and just kept going and going and going. And unfortunately, after I cut off recording, I was messing around, jumping a few more times, and we ended up having a pretty nasty landing where it landed kind of in a ditch, and we completely bent the chassis. Now, the last jump you guys seen in that video, where I finished off the video, is where the first catastrophe happened, and this is it. The chassis got completely just warped. I mean, it tweaked pretty bad, and it was done. So we had to get a new chassis into this thing. But oddly enough, after that jump, when I noticed the chassis was bent, I started just ripping around for a minute, and then the ESC went up in smoke. And obviously, as you guys can tell, we got a beautiful new body on this thing. Guys, this is, out of all the Mojave bodies, after seeing this, in person and new and all shiny, this silver and black, red, and blue, obviously American scheme they got going on this thing is just awesome looking. Love, love, love this body, but I'll show you what we got going on inside. Now, I did take out the old cage inside with the little guys and transformed it over because it does not come with that with the new body. I put my Velcro, heavy-duty Velcro on the sides here that help hold it down. And now after noticing where a lot of these bodies like to break, I started reinforcing this already in the front here along this front edge with the soft Velcro that I've been doing, and it should help hold it up. Now, for the inside, I lied. We're going to start with the outside. As you guys can see now, we got a proper chassis under this car. We got a brand new M2C Racing Mojave chassis under here. The thing is just beautiful, and I will not be bending this one now. So, got the chassis changed out, and then, obviously, like I said, guys, the ESC went up in smoke. At first, I wasn't sure if it was the motor, the ESC, or the receiver, but then all of a sudden, the ESC decided to let the smoke out, and a little puff popped out of it, and she was done. So I was searching around on eBay, and I came across an ESC on there for a really, really, really good price. I thought about doing a hobby wing or whatever, but I found a stock Firma for a price that was just stupid to pass up. So I went back with a stock ESC. This thing runs great with this setup in here. I'm happy with it. It got plenty enough power for what this car is capable of jumping and doing. So went with a brand new stock ESC. Then I went a step further and got the proper M2C Racing ESC mount for this thing, because the plastic one allows it to flex around and bang around a lot, and the screws rip out of the plastic. So I got the aluminum M2C Racing ESC plate, and it also got a nice spot down here to mount your button. Put a little drop of Loctite on all those screws that hold that plate in, mounted up, worked beautiful again. And as far as the electronics now, Mojave's in great shape. And of course, the weakest part of this car is unfortunately the body mounts. These always break as soon as you start doing hard roof landings, or even just massive flex landings or lawn darts with this thing. With the weight of the body, these things just twist around. So I did have to replace those, even though I do have them reinforced with foam underneath to help cushion us a little bit. But the rear and the front did break inevitably. So I got new ones of those on there. And like I said, I threw on some other miscellaneous bits. I got the EXB center braces on here. I got the M2C Racing upper block, because this is always the biggest weak spot on any of the 6S Arrma cars. Definitely always change out if you got a plastic one. And we are running the M2C Racing rear shock tire on here. And guys, we were running the 3DRC rear and front bumper supports on this thing. And guys, these things have been holding up phenomenal. I mean, you guys have all seen the beating that this Mojave has had. And these bumper supports have been working great. But that is it for the Arrma Mojave. She's fixed up and ready to roll back to 100%. Obviously, we're going to go out and have some more fun with this thing, and this car is always a good time. But I'm going to go ahead and just, we're going to go over the Infraction here for a moment, because we might have some more plans coming up for this thing for this summer also. So, the poor Infraction. I want to find the, well, I know they have them, the silver and black, the same body style I have on the Mojave. I want to find that body for the Infraction. I was looking around, I did see a couple, but, with what I do with this poor Infraction, I hate to bash up another body until this one is 100% toast. And it's definitely not toast yet. Anyway, the Infraction, guys, has been a blast. launching this thing down to the skate park. Just been a great time. Now, people were asking me about the tires I had on here, and in the last video I used on this thing, I honestly didn't know the tire name or who made them, and I recently found out by the person who sent them to me. These are made by Westaw's. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen them. They are solid rubber tire. And guys, I've had this thing out now a total of 3 or 4 times, just beating the snot out of these tires and smoking them and burning them off and just drifting around. And I'm pretty impressed with the durability of these things. If you were looking around for, just a drifting, bashing tire, they're not a speed run tire by any means, because they don't really get the traction, but they're great at skate parks and just to have fun with this car, which is what this thing is awesome for. But they're made by Westaw's, Westaw's, I believe. Don't 100% quote me on that. You guys all know how famous I am for making or calling things the wrong things, but I'm pretty positive that's where they're from. And I think they might be on eBay. You can search them. But they are a infraction, limitless, whatever, solid rubber tire. They do come, the tire, I don't know if they come with the rims. I got them with these rims, but they were not glued. You have to glue the tires on, the rims yourself, which was easy enough. And there is a video out somewhere I seen on how to properly glue these. And I kind of went by that video, but a little bit of my own thing. And I haven't had any problems with them, anything come off. And they went a blast. So if you're looking for just a really fun drifting tire and a bashing tire, definitely check these things out. They've been holding up great. And yes, I know, this poor infraction / limitless was what it originally was, which is the same car, is just, she's been beat, guys. I mean, this thing has taken some abuse that this car is not intended for. The last bash I had, I did break this front center brace. I just replaced it. I just put the stock plastic one back on there for now. But as you guys can see, I removed the whole rear spoiler out of this thing because it was just kind of getting in the way and it got busted up. And I made it lighter. It can fly higher now, right? Also wanted to say a quick thank you to Team AU Family RC for sending me out some of your stickers for your RC channel and prospecting channel, I guess maybe you guys have. And Mystery Bag, I've never seen these two yet, but I've only ever seen your RC channel. But thank you for the stickers, guys. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to bore you anymore. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here in hopes that the rain stops here. And I'm getting some batteries charged up if it ever does stop raining. But definitely excited to go out there and have another bash here very soon. And I'm definitely excited to take out the new Larlo with the new ESC in here. I have a feeling that thing is going to fly, guys. So stay tuned for that video coming up. But that is going to do it for today. So until next time, y'all be safe. Be careful out there. Peace out, everybody.